Welcome to Crave the Book Podcast, episode 17. In today's episode, we're going to be covering chapters 56 through 61 of Tracy Wolff's Crave series. And we are actually in some of the very, very final chapters of the book. In fact, we expect to finish Crave in our next episode. So because of that, we've decided to host a giveaway in this episode, which we will discuss how to enter towards the beginning of the episode. So guys, without further ado, let's get started. What is up, guys? Welcome to episode 17. And this is going to be probably our holiday episode since it's going to be Christmas in just a few days, right, Amber? Right? Christmassy? We need some we need jingle bell sounds.
Yes,
some sound effects.
We do.
Jingle, jingle, jingle.
And I was going to suggest a reindeer, a caribou, and then I realized that they just go. What is with the animal noises? Always suggesting the animal noises.
Because Grace keeps hearing them outside the school. Oh, guys, today we're going to be covering chapters 56 through 61. We are right at the end of Crave. There's only going to be one more Crave episode after this, and then in the new year, we're going to be switching over to Crush. We didn't plan it that way, but that's kind of how things ended up. So yeah, we're actually going to be hosting a giveaway this episode though, and I'm sure that you guys have probably seen it on social. Hopefully that's why you're listening today, because we're going to be giving away some fabulous prizes. Those are going to be posted on our Instagram at Crave Series Aesthetic. And you'll also, if you're listening to this on YouTube, I will put those prizes up on the screen. But we're going to be giving away some exclusive Crave themed merch that you're not going to be able to get anywhere else because we do not sell it. We only give it away. And yeah, guys, if you want to enter, all you need to do is take a picture of the Crave podcast screen or take a screenshot if you're listening to it on Spotify, or take a selfie of yourself in front of your computer screen, just so we can see that you are currently listening to the podcast. And then I want you to post that on Instagram on your timeline using the hashtag Crave, what was it? Crave Holiday.
The Crave Christmas.
Crave, you want to do Crave? Let's do Crave Podcast Christmas.
Yes.
Okay. Not that.
Cravemas.
Crave. We'll just do Crave Podcast Christmas. Make sure that you spell it out. Don't do Xmas, or we might not find it. And not to be uninclusive to the other holidays, but there's a little bit of an alliteration there, and it's easy to remember. Crave Podcast Christmas. Crave Podcast Christmas. Yeah, so guys, we'll be picking a winner at random on the 28th for this awesome bundle of goodies. So that's some fun for the holidays. A couple other little things before we get into the episode. I have been posting some fun ASMR tracks on our YouTube channel exclusively. We would really like to be able to monetize that channel someday. So even if you listen to the podcast on Spotify, make sure that you hop over to our YouTube channel. All you got to do is search Crave the Book Podcast, subscribe to the channel, and there's going to be some exclusive content there, including our ASMR series, which just gives you some nice background noises to listen to while you read or sleep. I think I'm going to do a Christmas Eve one, though. We normally post those on Sunday, but yay. I want to do a Yule
I love
log.
listening to them. I just wish that there was a on repeat, a loop button on YouTube, because that would be great.
I'm putting them all in a playlist, and after we have a couple episodes together, it'll be a couple hours worth of content. Right now it's 1 hour total because we've got
some crazy fool could put them all in chronological order based on the books as well.
I guess we could do that. That's some,
and then even have some repetitions as well. Every time they leave the castle and trench through the snow, it's another walk.
And then if you read it at just the right speed, it'll line up perfectly.
Oh. Well, that is for somebody who has way too much time on their hands, and
that is not me.
Clearly me. Oh. Clearly me.
That is not me. That is not me at all. I will make them. You order them. How about that? But guys, if you're listening for the first time, if this is your first time hanging out with us, since this is a giveaway episode, and I know that we usually get more listeners on those, there is a special sound that you're gonna want to listen out for in the event that you haven't finished the full Crave series up through Covet. So Amber, do you want to tell them what that sound is?
So if you listen really, really carefully towards the latter end of our podcast, we try and keep it half and half, but we do really, really poorly at time management. It is towards the latter half of the podcast episodes. There will be a quick howl from a wolf. It sounds like this. And that will mean that we've moved from our episodic chapter reveal of what's going on in the book right now, and then we'll go into fan theories for like the entire series. So if you haven't read Crush, Covet, or Court, even if you've, because this could also be listened to in the future, make sure to tune out just in case we give you some spoilers, because we really don't want to.
we want to spoil Christmas for you.
We accidentally do leak some things out though, so if you really are like starting brand new, fresh with the series, I would just beware. We're silly sometimes.
We try not to. We really do.
Yeah. And it's usually ones that definitely have been leaked already by people. And unless you've been living under a Crave-shaped rock, you will not know that. Yeah, it's they're pretty obvious ones that we seem to leak out a lot. But we are coming to the very, very end of Crave. So hopefully the one that we're really, really struggling with will almost be over.
Yes. Absolutely. All right, guys. So starting our chapter, last episode we talked about Grace and Jaxon. They went up into the Aurora Borealis and danced in the Northern Lights. And then they went back to Jackson's room and had some tea that Leah had conveniently left. And then Jaxon bit Grace willingly, consensually, except then he started taking some blood, more blood than he should have. And Grace got woozy. Jaxon goes feral, tells Grace to run, and then Leah arrives and shoots Jaxon. And Grace is laying on the ground, freaking out, and Jaxon is also laying on the ground, freaking out. So that's where we left off, cliffhanger much. So first thing that I noticed, reading the very first chapter that we started with, I believe it was 56, yes, was the chapter title, Vampire Girl Gone Wild. That's one hell of a chapter title. Amber, I don't know if because in the UK, like nudity on camera isn't that we discovered when Amber came to the US and hung out with us. Apparently that's not a taboo here. So it probably isn't as taboo to see like boobs on TV, but late at night, especially like on Comedy Central and on some of the, the comedy channels, we would get the ads for Girls Gone Wild DVDs, and like this tropical music would play, and then these girls would like flash their boobs, and you could buy the box set of just girls going wild. And I was just like,
so we definitely had that back when TV was there was only like the 5 channels.
Okay.
Where like you had like the communal TV, there was no streaming.
Yeah.
Yeah, that definitely was something that would play at like 3 a.m.
Yeah.
Yeah. But as soon as like streaming became available and you could decide which channel to watch, then certain channels, channel 4, they started going a bit beyond the norm in the documentaries that they chose to put on the screen. So you would never ever see boobs or hear swearing on like the BBC channels, because they're all very like received pronunciation and very much like the Queen could be watching at any given moment, because that's what she does. I'd like to think she's definitely watching Channel 4 because she likes to watch My Weird Fetish and My Threesome Diaries and things like that. I definitely think she watches The Undateables. Definitely.
Oh, no. These are shows that they would not be acceptable in the United States.
I can't believe you don't have an equivalent of Come Dine With Me.
We don't have.
Come Dine With Me is the most sarcastic tea party ever. It's amazing.
We have nothing.
You go around to 4 different people's houses who you hate, and they'll cook you a dinner, and you just pick it apart in a taxi on the way home.
No, we have no equivalent. Yeah, I don't know, that chapter title, I was like, I wonder if like the younger, like the actual demographic for these books is like ages 14 to, I think it was like 18. I was like, does a 14-year-old understand that reference? Is that, I mean, I'm sure that they've heard of it, but do they? Anyway, I
didn't.
Oh, you didn't?
No, I was like, oh, Girl Gone Wild is one hell of a chapter title. And I was like,
what?
So?
Yeah. I don't know. That was weird. Anyway, that was a really long intro to our first note, but apologies. I thought it was funny. Hopefully you guys thought it was funny too. Yeah. Oh, next note is from you though.
Yes. So she's gone all levels. Leah has gone all levels of abusive ex. Like the way that she's talking to Grace is very much like you wouldn't feel like this if you had done what you were just supposed to, and you made me do this, and when you wake up in the morning with a huge headache, just remember you chose this. This is your fault. Very much like that. And then it's always followed by like violence or knocking her out. And I was like, where did this come from?
Yeah,
I knew that she was horrible, but I didn't realize that she was actually psychotic in the way that she could manipulate people into believing that what she's doing is their fault.
I mean, she wasn't very good at it because Grace didn't believe that any of that was her fault. Yeah.
No.
Leah was...
It was odd. It was odd to like somebody who was like inviting her round to go for like tea parties and manicures and like slumber party kind of thing, and then all of a sudden, this is your fault, and then slaps her.
She kicked her like in the face. Yeah. And then Grace wakes up on a stone table with her arms bound, and she can't move anything but her toes and her fingers and her head back and forth. And I was just like, kinky. But she's in like some, I'm like envisioning some little like cotton, some little ceremonial nightgown type thing. Did Leah get her naked? Did Leah strip her down, change her into a little nightie and put her on the...
I mean, that was how it read.
That's... Ooh, there's...
I did have ideas of her like actually in manacles up against the wall. The way that I was reading it, it sounded as if she was being like shackled to the wall.
Oh,
and then it was like, oh, well, she's on a table, and I was like, oh, I completely missed that as an imagery to follow.
Yeah, I pictured the room like dark except for one beam of light from a mysterious hole in the ceiling conveniently like shining down on the table. But she looks around.
There's a circular saw.
Yeah.
There's a circular saw between her legs, slowly inching away through to cutting her in half.
Yeah, and why is this table in the school? Because it's obviously already got the shackles on it. Why is this in the school with the children?
Is it to help werewolves transition?
That's a good point. Like maybe like when they need to restrain a student who literally is going completely feral, like for the first time, that would make sense. Except there are giant vases of blood everywhere, and that's not how you store blood. You got to put a lid on those. So unless those are just there conveniently for the ceremony that Leah has going on, what? I don't understand. Is the room cold because they're storing the blood in the room? Even so, you need to have a lid on that. That's not how blood stores. And blood gets stinky within a couple hours. I don't know if you've ever been around just a volume of blood, but it stinks very, very badly in a very short amount of time.
I did some maths.
Oh, God.
So, she says that there are 24 3-foot vases, or vases, however you say it, of blood.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, how many gallons is that? And how many people have bled out for that to be a thing? I think I did my maths wrong, though, because this gave me like 3 cubic feet. So let's just round down the numbers a bit. So per vase at 3 feet of a vase, but this was cubic, so we need to just round it down, was 52.88 gallons. Okay. So guess how many gallons are in a human body?
Like 5?
1.3.
Oh, God.
So there's like, categorically, there is more than one human in that vase.
How? Ew. How? Okay.
Because I did I did the math for like 3 cubic feet of vases, and it was 976.23 humans.
What about, okay, so if they're drinking mostly animal blood, how many gallons of blood are in like a cow?
I don't know. I didn't do that math.
I'm gonna Google it real quick. Move on to the next note. I'm gonna Google how many gallons of blood in a cow.
Because I just thought, I was like, how many things have bled out for them to have A, this storage of blood, or B, this sacrifice?
Okay, there are 36 to 39 liters of blood, or 9.5 to 10.3 gallons. So approximately 10 gallons of blood in a cow, which could be the largest possible animal I think that they would be getting blood from for students. Because they say animal, but they never specify what kind.
And we know that there is 50 gallons in this one 3-foot vase. But then I think that this is 3 foot by 3 foot. So
unless it's tall and skinny, I'm picturing like a decorative, almost like those pretty wine like decanters, but tall.
Yeah, there's definitely a cow in it.
There's definitely a cow.
There's at least one cow's worth of blood in each vase, and there's 24 of them. What
would be worse? So Grace, her legs are all cut up from being bound to the table, and she kicks one of those over, and it gets all over her. What would be worse, having 10 humans' blood in your open wound, or one cow? The blood of one cow.
The cows have HIV.
Okay. Humans could have HIV.
Exactly. I'm also concerned that they might not have gone for a cow, because that might have been a really difficult way of getting an animal into Alaska. So they might have gone for something small, like lemmings. Can you imagine how many lemmings that would be? Oh, you'd be able to make like a little, like those little like moleskin rugs. Just like a lemming. Lemmings.
Do you have Capri Suns?
Yes.
Just take a little lemming and just stick it with a straw like a Capri Sun. No. Oh my God, we're going off
lemmings.
We're going off the rails already. We're starting this episode strong, and I know we got new listeners here because it's a giveaway episode. Oh, guys, it only gets worse from here. It only gets worse.
There is at least 40 humans in that room who died,
or 6,000 lemmings.
Well, the 40 humans was my calculation for a single vase, but that obviously was 3 by 3, which it's not really a vase. That's more like a box,
a bucket,
got like an Amazon box of blood.
Oh no, it's like, I don't know if you've ever worked in like a restaurant, but for the soft drinks, it comes in a box. It's like a bag in a box, and then you load the whole box into the fountain dispenser. And then it mixes with water, and it makes the soda come out of the fountain. But yeah, you can load them up.
Do you have boxed wine?
Yes. just those sitting everywhere. The cheap boxes of wine. You got to twist the little twisty knob off.
Yeah, like a little tap.
Oh, just you wait, Grace. It's about to get real bad. 1 second. Yeah. Let's see. Oh man, I've lost my place.
You forgot for the first time since coming to Katmere Academy, I wish I had some supernatural powers of my own, namely the power to break through rope.
Haha! You cannot contain me. I am Rope Girl with the power to break any tether.
I'd like to think that she could have been a bit like Mouse Girl and just nibbled through them.
She's got super long fingernails.
I am Were-Rat. She's hear me squeak.
She could just be she could be stretchy like the Incredibles mom. She just stretches and like makes her arm super thin so it slips out. I can think of a million better superpowers to get out of the rope than to be able to break rope. Maybe she just, do you even lift, bro? Like she needs to just go to the gym, do some reps, bro. Break that rope.
Do you even rope, bro?
Do you even rope, bro? Yeah.
Hey, were rats are no joke. You can eat through anything. You can swim.
And that's it.
You can have many babies.
I think
you're very, very agile. You can climb things, and you can pull people's hair and make them cook. Just there are many abilities of a were rat.
Oh no, I can't.
Except cleaning. They're very clean. They're very clean. They just smell somehow
because they pee. Rat urine. I mean, everything pees, but rat.
It's like it smells because it pees.
Rat. I've lived in the ghetto and I've had rats. I have lived that low in my life, and yeah, it's stinky. This is a lesson to all of you. You can do better, no matter what, no matter how bad your situation is. Things can.
You could be better than were rat.
You can be better than were rat.
Would you rather have 52 gallons of blood spilled on you or 52 gallons of rat pee?
Blood. Blood.
Hands down.
Blood. I don't care where it came from. Here's the thing. If you would have just said no, that's a lie. That's even worse. I was going to say, if you would have just said pee and I wouldn't have known that it's rat, maybe the odds would be more even because you didn't specify what type of blood. But no, if you just said pee, that's even worse because I'm like, is it people pee? It's all bad. Yeah, this should have been our fan poll of the day.
Wait, let me add it.
No.
They'll have no idea until tomorrow. You carry on with the next step. I'm gonna add it.
Can you put just put the text "serious podcast question" above it so they have at least a tiny bit of context?
Okay, I'll do that. I'll do it.
Okay.
You go wild with the next point.
Starla girl gone wild. So Grace is able to get out of her tether and she's able to get out into the hallway because Flint changes into a dragon, flies toward her, grabs her by the arm, digs his talons into her. And first time reading this, I was like, oh, cool. Flint's here to save her. They're going to make him seem super scary, and then he's going to swoop in, and then he's going to grab her, and then he's going to save her, and then she's like, except he's puncturing my bicep. And then I was like, okay, maybe when he's a dragon, he can't control himself. Maybe he's, kind of feral. He doesn't have a lot of control over his mind. Except then he turns into a freaking person and starts beating her head in the wall. So, yeah, I don't know. But, my thing is I had a picture of what these tunnels looked like in my head because we've been in them several times throughout the book. We've had the description of them. I've got it in my head. But then Flint comes, who I'm imagining is a very large dragon, right? And we get confirmation that he's a large dragon in the second book as well. He's big. If he's that big, how big is the hallway to accommodate not just his wingspan, but the ability for him to flap those wings to be able to fly? Because even if he's just gliding, he's still going to need the ability to actually gather wind under those wings and get a good flap in to keep that distance. It's just wings are.
He also with the theory of flight, which is his favorite topic as well. He wouldn't be able to get any wind resistance because there can't be that much draft down there.
No.
And there's no hot air, or it would probably all be cold as well. So he wouldn't really be able to go up much. He would literally just be kind of floating.
Yeah, I'm like
a blimp.
Like, you were in my basement. You stayed down here. It's shaped long, and I'm looking at it from side to side, not counting the ceiling because we don't know how. I'm imagining that the ceilings in the hallways or in the tunnels are pretty tall because they're accommodating large chandeliers with the bones. So we'll just take out height and just do the width of the ceiling or of the tunnel across. I'm looking at my area rug, like my standard size area rug in the center of the room. And if my area rug was the size of Flint, yeah, this tunnel would have to be double the width of my basement. And my basement is huge.
Yep.
Which means this tunnel...
And that's just the basement, let alone the actual castle size. Like, maybe they're just like caverns rather than rooms.
Oh, in the Crave Chapters games, there's like pictures of the tunnels, and they're not that wide. I have trouble picturing it. I hope that when they do the movies, if they do the movies, that we'll get some perspective there, because
the thing is, right, so she describes this dragon coming at her, and then she also describes later on Flint with just the claws. But then when the fight starts breaking out with Jaxon, she goes, "Oh my god, he's turned into a full dragon." And I was like, wait, was he not a full dragon before?
Are there
and then I just imagined Flint with tiny like baby dragon wings, just him.
Well, she said that it was a huge green dragon to begin with. When it started, that there was a huge green dragon flying at her. Which, first of all, if there's a dragon flying at me, I'm not going to tell you what the color is. I'm just going to say, "Oh shit, it's a dragon!" Like, I'm not going to. I'm not color is not going to play into that. I don't know. It's almost like Tracy had originally intended the dragons to be able to take, like, maybe use different amount of energy to do different sizes, but that never reoccurs. Flint is a big dragon, and we get examples of that later in the books. Like, more than one person can sit on these dragons. What's the most people that has sat, like, in any of the scenes that have dragons, what's the most people that have sat on one? 3?
Yeah, I think that they all went on Flint somewhere.
Yeah.
So the whole group.
Okay.
I don't know. Do you also think that they're like Illyrian wings, where like
they can just do wings?
Yeah. And also, does the size compare to something else?
The wingspan? That wingspan. Well, obviously not.
Whoa, he a big dragon.
He a big dragon. Yeah, I mean, that would have been a really cool thing to add in, but none of the other shifter species. Well, no, that's not true, because some of the shifters, there have been scenarios where it's just a wolf's head on a human body. So I don't know. I just never see it with the dragons. The dragons never half shift. Other than that one scene where Flint has a claw.
Yeah. He definitely should just do wings sometime.
Just Flint with wings.
Yeah.
Would he?
Surely that would be easier sometimes.
Would he have to, like? Does he need a special shirt? Do the Illyrians wear special shirts?
They did, because she asks in Wings and Ruin when they're in that little tiny like bedsit, the little like bed and breakfast place. Maybe it's not Wings and Ruin. No, it's not.
Mist and Fury.
It's Mist and Fury. They're in that tiny little bedroom, and she asks how his shirt actually fits around the wings, and he says that there are slats in the back that the wings poke through, so that it would be ergonomical for any wing.
Got it.
All wings are in different places.
Got it. I must have missed that detail. I know the chairs, because that's a reoccurring thing, but the clothing only came.
It was literally mentioned like once.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's Okay, we're getting off the handle here, but guys, feel free to message us on Crave Series Aesthetic on Instagram and let us know what you think of just Flint with wings. Let's see. Okay, so here's another thing that popped up that I'm confused by. And I love bringing these up with you guys because you guys often know the answers. And you message us and you tell us. So Flint said that they knew Leah killed Grace's parents when the wolves smelled her. And that was in reference to Marc and Quinn trying to drag Grace outside. And they said something about how what did they say about how she smelled? Like, they said she
they could tell who she was when they smelled her.
Yeah, there was something different about her that they could detect.
I will find the quote whilst you speak.
Yeah, it's in the earlier episodes. If you go through our episode notes, I think it's in like the second episode or third episode. But they knew Leah killed Grace's parents when the wolves smelled her, is what Flint said. How did they know that Leah killed Grace's parents by the wolves smelling Grace? Because that would be the reason why the wolves were trying to kill Grace.
They said she's got something going on, but I don't know what it is yet.
Okay. I'm so confused by that line. They knew Leah killed Grace's parents when the wolves smelled her. Because I
don't think they said that. I think they said that. I think that they said that they knew who she was by smelling her as soon as she came into the castle.
Yeah, but Flint told Grace that they weren't sure at first, but then they knew that Leah was the one to kill Grace's parents when the wolves smelled her. He just revealed that to her when he was bashing her head in before he was about to kill her.
It said, don't you get it? She killed your parents to get you here. We knew it for sure as soon as you arrived and the wolves got close enough to smell it.
Still, what?
I don't know.
What did they smell? Because Grace's parents died a month before she came to Katmere, right?
Pee.
It was pee. It was a territorial smell. No, I really don't know. If you guys know, feel free to let us know if we missed something. But yeah, that bugged me. I couldn't figure it out. And look, I'm just saying, guys, if I'm gonna kill someone, like if I'm standing there about to like bash their head in, about to choke someone out like Flint was doing to Grace, I'm not going to explain everything to them before, if you're going to die.
You're not going to do the evil monologue.
Yeah, like, here is exactly why I have to do this. Like, if they're going to die and take all that thought, everything with them, you're only telling them so that you can go on with the rest of your life knowing that you told them, even though that would be like taking a fire and adding a log onto it before you douse it with water to put it out. Like, it's not. I'm siding with the bad guys here, like trying to understand how they feel and the mechanics of them. Not saying that killing someone is right. Not saying that he's justified in any way. However, I just feel like it's kind of a waste of time.
If only Leah said before her dying breath, "Oh, I would have gotten away with it if it wasn't for you meddling kids
and your stupid dragon."
Yeah, it's like, yeah. At some point, Grace needs to tell Jaxon, let's split up and look for clues. Like, just following every trope to try and get yourself murdered more.
Yeah.
I mean, and I also put, like, oh, if Flint, like, truly felt bad about having to kill her, he's not exactly doing it in, like, a nice, gentle, humane way. He just keeps smashing her head against a wall, pulling her hair, choking her, like trying to drag his claws through her as a dragon. Like, why pretend that he's a human at all? Why go through that charade because he could have just taken her out for a walk in the grounds of Katmere somewhere, turned into a dragon, killed her, and then walked away. Because no one would have been there to tell on him for letting the drat out the bag.
Yeah, he could have. He breathes fire. He breathes ice. He could
flour her to death.
Flour her. I mean, he could if he either burned her to a crisp or froze her outside somewhere. No one would have no one would have guessed that it was him. Yeah, there's no DNA. It's not like you're going to DNA test the fire and know it was his fire. Like there's no way to find out. That would have been the more efficient way to do it. Come on, Flint.
And if you're getting caught for murder, I mean, letting her know that you're not human, you're actually a dragon, kind of is a bit of a drop in the ocean, really. So I don't know why he was so concerned about that. And then all of a sudden he's trying to actually murder her with like pain involved.
Yeah.
Brutally smacking her face against the wall.
And then choking
and
her.
Like, look, I'm doing it for the right reasons.
Yeah. I've said it multiple times, and this is in our spoiler topics. I don't know why I put it in our spoiler topics. It's not a spoiler. I just hate this whole scene with Flint. Flint's one of my favorite characters. He goes on to be a fantastic character, and I just wish Tracy wouldn't have included this particular part. I think that the scene would have been fine without Flint being a bad guy for that brief period. It just, I mean, yeah. I'll talk more on the spoiler section, but just let it be known that I really hate that we got this fun, charismatic, super nice, like actually transparent, fun character who we all really like right from the start. And I understand that that's like how the bad guy goes, because Leah was that person for a while as well. But Flint should have never been a bad guy, in my opinion. He's still one of my favorite characters. But anyway,
I have another question.
What?
And it's a rather delicate question. And feel free to say, "Shut up, Amber. I don't want to tell the podcast people." Have you ever been choked in a non-sexual way? Because that's entirely different. Like choking, like violently, is completely different to choking in the bedroom.
No, not in. I was in MMA.
I'm just trying to work out whether you could actually have a conversation with someone whilst being choked.
No. And
I didn't think so.
No. So I was in martial arts, and granted, you tap out when you can't handle it anymore, and usually you know right away that there's no way I'm getting out of this. I need to tap out. But no, you can't talk. You can't really listen. You're not focusing on anything. And it happens very quickly, especially if Flint is muscular as, they describe him to be.
And she's really injured, like really, really injured.
Yeah.
She's not given up this entire time. And kudos to her. She's very much like, those big Marvel Avenger film, like battle scenes? I'm imagining her is the mouse running into a building that is like they've paid an extra to put their like pet mouse is like like there is absolute carnage going on, but she cannot protect herself against any of it. She's completely helpless. And no matter how strong she is of a character, no matter how brave she is, she will lose in a fight against them.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like reading through this, it is an absolutely brutal scene because she's just getting pummeled. She can't stop any of the things that she's doing. And I mean, a little bit later, she said that she's just not going to go quietly and she's going to scream, even if she thinks that stopping screaming will stop the pain, because Leah is hurting her in reaction to her screams. She's like, if it's the only thing I can do, I'm going to be as noisy as possible. And that comes from a place of bravery as well. But there was certain things about the fight scene, like the being choked and then still kind of continuing to have a conversation with Flint, albeit choked up. that was just kind of, it made me feel like, oh, like it wasn't then believable. Whereas up until that point, I was like, yeah, everything that she's doing, she's helpless. She can't do anything.
Unless Flint wasn't putting his heart into it, because he didn't.
I mean, we knew that he wasn't. Yeah. But at the same time, you can't half-heartedly choke someone.
That's true. Yeah,
you're not going to get either end result, and in fact, you're going to actually do more damage to the person if you do half-heartedly choke them, because they're going to suffer with brain damage if you deprive them of oxygen long enough that their brain then actually starts apathying. Apathying? Is that a verb? To apathize. Apathymins. It starts atrophying.
Atrophying, not apathy.
Yes.
Atrophy.
Yes. Shut up. I did languages at university, guys. Degree well spent.
Yeah, if I could remove one thing from the series, it would be Flint in this dungeon. Honestly, I would remove this. I love this series. I love Flint. He's one of my favorite characters. I would remove this entire this part of, because the scene could have went on without it. But anyway, yeah. So she let's see, Jaxon busts down and the whole comes down like a dragon seeking missile. I imagine him.
I loved that bit before where she's like, "Oh, you're in trouble now."
Yeah.
She knew immediately who it was, and she was like, "Oh, I better move."
Yeah.
He's in trouble.
I pictured it like okay, I'm setting the scene for you guys. Imagine Jaxon is coming from a side corridor, right? And you've got the main corridor where Grace and Flint is. And he runs in and slides sideways into the tunnel on his feet, but he's kind of bent over in that Twilight crouch. So he just slides in from the side with his face just fixed on Flint. That's how I pictured it. And then he bolts forward. Yeah. But she's nervous about Jaxon too, because Flint said something about Jaxon being involved in this whole thing. So she's not totally, trusting Jaxon. And because of that, she's like, I'm just going to go. And then we get my favorite line of this episode, which was, I beat back the sympathy and take a step away, sliding along the wall in the most unobtrusive manner I can muster. And in the Northeast, we'd say, or no, not Northeast, Northwest, sorry. In the Northwest, we'd say, "Oh, let me scooch right past you there."
She was so just unassumingly moving away.
Yeah, just, "Oh, let me scooch right past you there." Do we have any opers listening? Do you say ope? Ope.
So, when Flint said that Jaxon was involved in Leah's plan, did you believe her?
First read through, I didn't want to. I thought maybe it was one of those things where he originally, that was part of the plan, but then he fell in love with Grace and then he didn't want to anymore and he changed his, no, we must spare her. We cannot go through with the original plan. I love her.
Damned with the consequences. I knew to save her.
Yeah.
See, I thought that it was Jaxon is involved in the plan as in he is an integral part of her plan. Not that he's involved as in an
accomplice,
a willing party. Yeah, he's involved as part of one of the ingredients in the plan. And I was like, oh, maybe it's a mate thing. And then, obviously,
okay,
we went to the next scene and I was like, confirmed.
Yeah. And then we end this scene and our chapter. Oh, go ahead.
Just the next bit. Listen, Leah has found her. She's crawling away. She's almost making it out. And then Leah's like, nope. Did you think you could run away? And I'm like, clearly she was not running. She was crawling away. She manages to get her to her special room.
By the hair.
Back to the beginning. By the hair, yeah. And Grace is absolutely giving it all she's got on the way there. And then Leah goes, the stars have aligned. I'm like, of course the fucking stars have aligned. Jesus Christ. Of course the stars have aligned. When have they not aligned? When is it? Oh, well, the stars align in maybe about 5 years. It's always like, the stars are aligning tonight or tomorrow, next Wednesday. We have until next Wednesday to get the stars to align. What? As someone who does not come from a pagan or witchy background, I have absolutely no idea what anybody is talking about.
The stars at the strike of midnight tonight.
Yeah, Can you never do that in your book?
What, that the stars, everybody...
That the stars aligned?
every 6,000 years, the sun aligns with the moon. And tonight is that night.
Yes. Yeah, it really frustrates me. I love Tracy and I love her books. And this is like, honestly, one of the best series I've ever read. But Crave, that bit's just lazy writing.
Well, okay.
That one specific line was I was ready to pack it in.
Okay, so here's devil's advocate here. What if all of that planning already took place? Maybe Leah knew all of this a year ago when Hudson died. She figured it out, and then all of the because then we wouldn't see the full year of planning. It's just led up to this moment, but it could have been like a full year of planning for this specific night. Because then it wouldn't be like, oh, the stars just happen to align right now at this very second. It could have been like, tonight is the night that I have been waiting for a year since my lover died.
Sure.
Sure.
Just one day, just one day in my life, I would like to read a book that said, shit, the stars aligned yesterday. We missed it. Like, I would have been like, yes, this is the series I need to subscribe to. Where are the pre-orders for the next 17 books? I am ready. I am invested already. And then let's do this.
And then it's them waiting like 10 years. The whole series is them waiting 10 years to be able to wait.
And then they miss it. And then they miss it again because they missed their train or something. Like, oh, I'd get behind that book. Real life and fiction. Let's do this. Like, how many times have you gone, oh, there's a meteorite strike tonight? You've forgotten, and then you wake up in the morning. And that is real life, guys.
Amber loves that delayed gratification.
Yep.
Oh, God. Let's see. Yeah, so
all I had in my head is, have you ever watched El Dorado?
I have, but I don't. It's been so long.
The meme, like, stars not aligned, not tonight. No. That was all I could think about during that scene was, oh, Kent, stars not aligned. No, not tonight.
I was laughing where Grace, they get back to the room. Leah drags her back to the table, but Grace like snags the spell book and rips a bunch of the pages out and burns them. And then my brain is just like, did you put a spell into the fire?
She asks calmly.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, I didn't think that was funny until I read your note and then read the scene, and then I cracked up. Especially as that was the end of our chapters. I was like, what a thing to end on. Did you plunge a spell into the fire?
And the way that I spelled it out,
fire,
the THA spell into the fire.
What makes it funny is that was the last Harry Potter film I watched, was The Goblet of Fire, and I watched it ahead of going to that the museum exhibition, and it was completely pointless. I did not need to watch any of the Harry Potters to enjoy any of the exhibition. In fact, it was a disappointment, that exhibition. I was so sad.
Aww.
Yeah, it said an hour and a half to go around, and I was done in 20 minutes.
Well, if you went through it like you went through Otherworld, where you just
No. We were waiting for families with like kids to move so that we could enjoy like the experience on our own, because there was no one in there. But yeah, 20 minutes to go round, and you know the Niffler, the like platypus thing,
yeah.
And next to it, they were like, the Niffler was inspired by a magpie. I was like, what?
What? Oh,
I was like, no, he wasn't. He wasn't. Stop it. You're ruining my favorite film.
I thought he was like an echidna.
He was anything but a magpie.
The stealing.
Yeah, but magpies don't really do that. Magpies just obsess over things that are new.
Yeah.
Not necessarily sparkly things. I was disappointed. And they were like the little bowtruckles, like the little like stick insect kind of things.
Yeah.
They could have had an exhibition of stick insects, but no. They were like, here's a giraffe and how it licks ants off of leaves. I was like, what is this going on?
All right. Are we ready for spoilers? We only have 2. All right.
I didn't add any.
I know.
I forgot that we were doing spoilers.
We'll have to improv. So my big thing that I want to know is Leah tranquilized.
Tranquilized.
That's one of those words that my brain just doesn't like to say. Like I can write it. I can say it in my head, but when my tongue tries to say it, I'm like, tranquilized. Leah tranquilized Jaxon, but what was her overall plan? Like, but
what she didn't need him, did she? She didn't need him in.
But if
the thing,
if he was tranked, and he woke up, and Grace was dead, and Hudson was alive, Jaxon would go absolutely like berserk, knowing that Grace is dead. So why?
So would Hudson. Come on.
Well, you know,
he would be distraught.
You know. You're right.
I think that he would be like, Leah, what the bloody hell did you do?
Well, they hadn't spent that time together in Grace's mind, though, so there wouldn't be the bond.
Yeah, but I also don't think that Hudson really rated Leah that much in the end anyway either. So
yeah,
when she brought him back, he'd be like, oh,
thanks,
bye,
see ya. Yeah, bye-bye.
He'd just leave her. How distraught would you be?
Yeah, and Jaxon would just end up killing her and probably trying to kill Hudson again. I just don't understand. I don't understand what the plan was overall.
And would it have been a bit more of a perilous situation where her life was actually threatened?
Right.
Would she have just gargoyled herself anyway?
Oh, my husband just brought me tea. I love you so much.
Oh,
is it poisoned?
I'm
We're talking.
jealous.
We just talked about poisoned tea, and then you brought me tea.
Is it Tetley? Don't drink it.
What kind of tea is it? The kind I like. Thank you. It's bourbon.
The lemon.
No
bourbon.
Yeah, it's bourbon barrel, and it tastes like you know when you have like a campfire and you get that like nice woody smell. That's what it tastes like. I like bitter things.
That sounds awful.
Oh,
you like bitter things and yet you hate Twiglets.
Oh yuck! Those taste like cat poop. Not that I know what cat poop tastes like, but they taste the way cat poop like smells when you're scooping it out of a litter box. Anyway, yeah, I just want to know what Leah's plan was in the wouldn't it have been easier to kill Jaxon? Not that I think that it would have been that easy, but like
it would have been easier to like actually drug Grace properly. Like she clearly didn't, but I just don't understand why she didn't try harder to just keep her drugged, and then she would have just disappeared into the tunnels and just kept her drugged until the date that she needed when the stars aligned. And then it would have been fine, and she never would have fallen for Jaxon, and Jaxon would have never fallen for her because they didn't do shit.
And it would have been the most boring book ever.
Exactly. But it would have been successful.
It would have been successful. Hudson.
Not the book.
Yeah, not the book. The book would have been a flop. Leah's plan.
But it could have we could have listened to the book from Leah's perspective.
Ew, I don't want to listen to.
No.
He will love me. He will love me.
Hey, you never know. You never know the inner turmoil that she's going through, thinking of that obsession, thinking she might actually hate him, but she cannot stop the thoughts of making sure that she brings him back.
Yeah, because I'm sure he's got some. If his power is influence, I'm sure that there is some of that. Like, I'm sure he drove it into her head. You know, there's. I'm sure that it's more of like a. because I do feel for Leah. I've said that on multiple episodes. I feel for her because she is in love. Hudson has the ability to influence. I'm sure that what she is doing is not 100% her. I'm sure it's some of what Hudson has, put into her head before he died. And her entire life since he's died has been obsessing over how to bring him back. So, and she obviously knew that Jaxon and Grace were mated, right? Because that's why Grace had to die.
But she left it so long that they then had, then Jaxon thought that she was definitely worth saving. Whereas if she did it day one and she just disappeared, Jaxon would have firstly thought, oh, she took my advice and left the school. And she would have been more compliant because she would have been drinking the tea.
Yeah.
Leah's just stupid.
But Finn might have gotten...
For all the forethought that she put in, her execution was pretty terrible.
Yeah. Leah doesn't win most creative student at Katmere Academy Award for the yearbook.
No, and Finn doesn't win most secure headmaster.
No, definitely not. He's like, oh, the students killing each other, It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah. And there's no award system. There's no 10 points to Dragon Door. So no kids have got anything to actually strive for during the year. So they can just keep on killing each other. It's not like they're losing any points.
That's true, other than Ludares, but that's only the students who play Ludares.
I'm saying they need an award system.
Yeah.
They've got to rebuild anyway because the whole thing was on fire. So maybe it'll come with the renewing of the building.
Wait, the school was on fire?
Yeah.
When was the school on fire? At the end of Covet? I didn't know it was on fire.
Yeah, right at the end of Covet. All the kids were gone and everything was on fire.
I remember the kids being gone. I didn't know that. I couldn't remember the school being on fire.
Maybe that was a fever dream.
I think the school's just empty, Amber.
Oh.
Oh.
Maybe I needed it a bit more violent.
Amber needed it to be on fire.
I don't care about the kids because we never met the kids, so I don't have any invested interest in the kids. But the school, God damn it, I love that school.
I know.
How dare you set fire to it?
I like that, though. I like that it's... what I really hate is when you read a book and you get slammed with a million characters and you have to remember what they look like and what their names are and who they're affiliated with and blah, 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 blah. I love that Crave did it nice and slow because there are so many books, even reading A Court of Thorns and Roses. By the time I got to the politics of Mist and Fury, I'm like, who the hell are all these characters? But now I am so invested. I love every single character of that series. I love them all. I am obsessed with all of them. And I think that she did a great job of giving everyone that balance. But I also really respect Tracy for giving us characters in nice, slow doses, rather than just saying, here's a bunch of people. It starts out with a very small, close-knit, group, and then a couple characters that don't matter right away, but then they matter later, like Cam and Cole. We don't get a big description of them until we need to know about them.
There's also characters that you might not care about at the beginning, like the prison cellmates. You're like, okay, cool, but then you develop a fondness towards them through the trials and tribulations that they go through to get out of the Ethereum.
Yeah,
Ethereum, and then obviously they go their separate ways, and because they're disappeared from the storyline now, you feel that they're threatened.
Yeah, you miss them. Remy. I'm ready for his story. Calder, I want to know what's going on with her. I mean...
And if the story wasn't written well, you wouldn't really care that they had disappeared from the story. You would have been like, okay, they were just a cameo for that scene, for that part of the book where they were in the prison. They're now not in the prison, so therefore these characters aren't relevant anymore. But no, your brain starts going, okay, but where are they? I need to know where they are. Are they safe?
Yeah, what are they up to right now? Especially Remy when he's like, no, I'm going to stay here. It's just like, no, come with them. Experience the world. Yeah. And then I think I've said enough about the hating the scene with Flint, but my main beef with it is he's such a great character in the long run that I hate that we're given a sour perspective. And maybe this is the most, I don't know, maybe it's kind of a surface level thing. And maybe it's kind of, I wouldn't say that it's a shallow opinion, and you guys are free to disagree with how I'm wording it. Flint is a fantastic, breakthrough, rare, expertly written character in Crush. When we get him in Crush, he comes out to Grace as gay, which is amazing. It is an amazing scene. It is a scene where he really confides in her. I think that it comes off very natural because he's still nervous to share everything, primarily because he is in love with Jaxon, but Grace is able to kind of figure it out. And he's a Black character, which we don't get a lot of them in fantasy, especially in major roles. If we do get, occasionally they will be sprinkled in, but it's never, they always add them in as tropes. And I hate that. I get sick of that because it's not fair. And when we compare back when Amber,
and not necessary.
Yeah. Yeah. And when Amber and I were in school and Twilight first came out, that was what we got from everything. And even, some of the characters in the Twilight movies, Laurent was not Black in the books. They had to fight to make sure that there were some Black characters in the films. And I don't quote me on this because I don't want there to be a lynch mob out for Stephenie Meyer, but I believe I've heard through the cracks that she actually fought about having Laurent's character Black because he was supposed to be white, and she didn't want to have a Black man play his role, which I can't remember the guy's name who plays Laurent, but I love that guy. I think that he is a fantastic actor, and he's one of my favorite characters in the movies. I think that he did a great job. But it's when Amber and I were in school, which I'm almost 30, and Amber she's still got a year to enjoy her 20s. We didn't get that naturally, and we didn't get it in a way that was authentic, and we didn't get it in a way that was gratifying. We didn't get it in a way that was good for growth. And what I like,
sincere and genuine.
Yeah.
We would go to school and then we were like, those are the only Black family that but then I feel uncomfortable talking to them because they're the only Black person there. Dude, am I only talking to them because they're Black? And whereas if it was just normal, we wouldn't have had that reticence, that unwillingness to even have that conversation with them, because we knew that they were normal and that there was nothing different about us. But because we hadn't had it from birth, or it was just in our everyday life, it becomes the
different thing.
They're the Black family.
Well, and
it's awful.
And you went to a school in the UK, which your Black populace is significantly less than it is in the US. I live in Ohio, and when I was in the 3rd grade, I was the minority at my school. I went to a mostly Black elementary school, and And I went from an all-white school, it wasn't intentionally an all-white school, but I lived out in the county, cornfields, and it was mostly all the redneck kids and farmers' kids that went to my school. And then I ended up moving into the city and started going to elementary school with a primarily Black student base. And I met some of my best friends there. And it was so weird making that transition, because up until that point, being a very small child, I think I was 9, I had never met a Black child, not out of, any reason. It's just I didn't live in an area where there were a lot of Black families resided. But it's one of those things where times have changed just so much in terms of progress, just in the last 10 to 15 years, that I want to see more of this. And what I didn't like about Crave was we got that amazing character that I immediately connected with, that was written so authentically, that Tracy didn't, try to his chocolate skin, his hazelnut, she just said his brown skin, and that is what we need more of. I didn't like that he ended up doing something so bad. You know what I mean? Like, I wish that...
Yeah, so heinous, but then also then turned around and he was actually a good guy. And it's like, oh, like, if you're a bad guy, lean into it. But...
Right, like...
Now we kind of we have a scene where we're like, oh, what he did was unforgivable, but now we have to suddenly forgive him. And I don't know how we're supposed to do that.
Right, because there's the moral part of me that's like, if this was me and someone tried to murder me and beat my head in and there was that malicious, like, intent, unforgivable. But Flint is a character that we must forgive because he is such a great character. Whereas, for example, I know that we have a lot of people who forgive, they talk about Jasper with the Twilight movies and Twilight books. And they're like, we love Jasper's character. And yeah, I love Jasper's character. Jasper is a racist. Jasper proudly fought for the Confederate Army. That means that he is a racist. That it doesn't matter if you like his character. If he proudly fought for the Confederate Army, he is a racist. That's how it goes. You can't have both.
I mean, let's be honest. All of the Cullens are racist anyway. The fact that they've segregated a Native American colony from ever being on their land through a treaty because they're a different race to them.
Well, and in that, I think it's more that the Quileutes in the books, God, guys, if you want to go donate to a cause, go to the, what is it? Is it Get to Higher Ground? Just go to the Quileute reservations website. They're trying to, because they didn't get any money for the Twilight movies other than the tourist money. And they're just trying to get their school out of the tsunami zone. Go donate to them, please. They're trying to get their school out of the tsunami zone because there's hardly any Quileutes left and they're in a danger zone and they just want to be safe. And it's very, very shitty that they have not received any money for this incorrect exploitation of their people. But that aside, I can understand in the context of fantasy, not actual Quileutes, that the Quileute tribe in the books wanted to keep, due to their legends, wanted to keep the vampires away from their people and their tribe. They wanted to keep the dividing zone. So I do think that was a mutual agreement made by them. Like, you can live in peace in this side. Do not come on our reservation. I can understand that. But I think that the writing itself, I love Twilight for what it is and who I was when I first read it. If it was published today, it would not be an acceptable piece of literature. And I just told somebody today in the Twilight sewer posting group, for anybody who's a member of the Twilight ship posting and Twilight sewer posting, someone had talked about Crave being like knockoff Twilight. And I commented and I said, look, Twilight is better written. It is artistically written. It is written by someone who is very attuned to writing a paranormal type, romance. Whereas Tracy, I think she was dipping her feet in the water with Crave, and she got better with it with each book. Each book gets better, and I think that that's Tracy evolving as a writer. But someday my daughter is going to look at my bookshelf, and she's going to say, Mommy, I want to read a book. What book should I read? And I don't know if I'm going to be able to recommend Twilight to her. Like, if I do, I'm going to have to sit down with her and say, look, this book is really cool. I really enjoyed it when I was your age, but it comes with some disclaimers. The relationships that you see depicted are very unhealthy. Whereas someday I'm going to hand her Crave and I'm going to say, sweetheart, you are going to love this.
Yeah.
So, yeah. We got ranty in this episode, didn't we?
Yep.
We love you guys, though. And we hope that through our discussions, even the ones that get more serious, that, it allows some perspective, because I know that some of you are going to agree, some of you aren't going to agree, and it's fine no matter what you agree with. But I think that advancements in writing, it is very important. I'm very nervous about my first book. It's coming out on January 14th. It's called The Channel. You guys can pre-order it now on Amazon and Barnes & Noble and pretty much everywhere else books are sold, other than Books A Million. I couldn't get it in Books A Million. But anyway, The Channel, I'm a little nervous because my main cast of characters in the first book, they're all white. And I didn't do that intentionally. It's just kind of how the writing turned out. But my second book has a Black main character. And I always get nervous when I read like a first book from a series, because I don't think that anybody should be judged for their very first book unless something absolutely atrocious like comes from it. You know what I mean? Like, unless you can tell that they're trying to send a negative message. I always try to be really open-minded with the first book of a series, just because I think that writers make a lot of mistakes in their first book. And, my first book, I think that it opens up to a new world and my new characters, where my main character in my second book, Iana, she is going to be everyone's favorite. Like, she is hands down one of my favorite characters to write. And I hope that people don't judge my book the way that I see some people judge the first Crave book, because you can see that Tracy evolves and learns, and we should embrace people like that who make a positive movement for change, but maybe just haven't completely perfected like something like their writing style yet.
I agree. You're getting so ranty.
I know. I'm sorry.
Just me and my little like anxious shell. It's like, please don't tell me off. What if I write something? Please don't read my writing.
Yeah, I know. That's my fear. Is I do have in the channel, I've got Venus, who is a big, busty,
voluptuous.
She is a very proud Black merchant. And one of my reviewers, or one of my editors, she said, this might cause some issues in the future that your only Black character is so sexual. And I'm like, she is so proud of her sexuality. That's how she makes money, off of stupid men who come to her table and look at her boobs in her corset, and she drains them for everything that they're worth because she's good at it. I'm like, that to me is empowering. She is a very intelligent woman. But she's not my only Black character. She's just one of the only ones in the first book, because there's hardly any characters in my first book. But yeah, I never judge my series by the first book. I did buy Throne of Glass. Did I tell you that?
You did.
Yeah.
You did, and then you said that your husband had bought you the series.
Damn it.
You pipped the post. And you also asked me whether I read Assassin's Blade first or Thrones of Glass. I read Thrones of Glass first. I read Throne of Glass first. And I was really not impressed by it. But then I don't know whether it was because I was reading it in such a disjointed way. Like, I was reading it whilst jet lagged, and
at my house.
I just wasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It was just the fact that I was like, maybe I just didn't give it the attention that it deserved. And reading on a Kindle is always different to reading on a physical book.
I'm a physical book girl. Yeah.
I love my Kindle. It definitely saves space. Like, if I had every single book, oh my God.
Yeah.
I would be out like on the street. My husband would kick me out. And it does mean that, like, if I'm reading a series, I can download the next book immediately. It arrives the same second, and I can start it, and I have no issues of waiting for it in the post or going out and getting one. So yeah, I love my Kindle, but it's definitely really hard to follow your train of thought and follow the storyline, because you can't just pick it up and see where the page was. Like, you open it, and then, because it's a digital thing, that's not much of your like brain can remember where you were, and you're like, oh, is this the same page? And there have been a few times when I've pressed the page button and it's not worked, so I've pressed it again, and then it's jumped 2 pages ahead, and my brain's like, where am I? I'm so confused.
Yeah, I'm definitely a physical book person. I'll read it. I assume you're gonna read Court of Frost and Starlight and Silver Flames, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So I have now, because I finished work now, I can read again.
Do Frost and Starlight before Christmas. It's so Christmassy. It's so fun. The whole thing it's a Christmas book, like, for sure. It's okay. It's very.
But I have so many books that I need to read, and I wanted to finish Crave, because there is something in me that I need to finish and complete a book, and I feel very unfulfilled right now, and I think it's because we haven't finished it. And I don't think my brain could take opening another book, because I'm halfway through. I started reading The Cruel Prince.
Oh, I'm getting that for Christmas.
I'm really into it.
Good. That's my next one.
I'm really intrigued by it. It was a storyline that I wasn't so sure on, because I've heard a lot of people mentioning it, saying that they couldn't get into it. They were too bored of it. It was a did not finish. But I'm really, really interested, and I'm really intrigued by the storyline. I'm quite far into it. I'm at 25-30% in. And I really want to finish it, but things just keep getting in the way.
Oh, okay.
Because when I sit down and read, I want to sit down and read. I don't just want to read a couple of pages and then get up and do something else. So I'm hoping that over Christmas I'm at least able to do that.
Frost and Starlight, I'm glad that I waited to read it. It was I could have not picked a better time to read it. It was so happy, and the Alarians have a snowball fight, and it's all our little bat boys having fun, and it's magical. But anyway, okay, we're so off topic, guys. Fan polls and fan questions.
Yes,
Amber asked those. Let me get my phone up. We didn't put them in the card today, did we?
We didn't.
Rats. Let's see. Okay.
Rat piss.
Rat pee. Let's see. Okay, so that is the blood pee question. Hold on. I forgot you asked that. Okay. First question was, do you think you could have held your own against Leah and Flint in a fight? What about you, Amber?
Nah, I'm not physical at all. I mean, I would be very much like, there's a bit where Grace is being dragged by Leah back to the room, the original room that she started out with, and she said that her brain had made plans and discarded them at least 6 times over. That would be me. That would be me going like, okay, I could do that. No, that's stupid. I could do that. Oh, that's dumb. Like, I would be going through every single thing in my head possible to get out of it, like as a scenario, as a simulation. I would go through like a simulation in my head of how it would go down. I'm quite good at interpreting what other people would do in situations. So I think that I would just be playing through each scenario in my head and imagining what would happen in each case. And I would be using, have you ever read any of those books of like the worst case scenario? And it's like, you meet a bear in the woods. What do you do?
Yeah.
Do you A, punch it in the nose? B, run away? C, climb a tree? Like, I love those books. And I would be going through like A, B, C. I'm like, how about H? I'm like, I come up with so many different ways of getting out of the situation that, yeah. I think that I would overanalyze and then end up doing nothing. I'm the kind of person that would sit in a conversation and then run through every single conversation I could possibly have, and then the person gets up and leaves before I've even said a sentence.
Well, my answer is just no. Because I am just a wee person.
You've done martial arts. Come on.
Like, badly when I was like,
yeah. Do you reckon muscle memory would take over?
17. Look, here's the thing: fighting for your life and sparring are not the same at all. Do you not think that muscle memory would take over, and you would know how to block, and you would know how to like put them in a chokehold? You would know your own strength. You would know where to plant your feet so that you wouldn't be able to get knocked over. I know none of that. Yeah.
I know how to kick them in the balls and run. That doesn't work against Leah.
No. Leah does not have balls.
Poke her in the areola.
Well, let's see.
Knowing me, I'd miss as well. I would go.
Well, what do you think the audience said?
No.
Yeah, no. It's 60.
Yeah.
67% said no. 33% said yes, though.
Okay.
So,
I mean, that's rather optimistic, but sure.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I also think that stripping naked is always a good way of like disarming your enemy. As I've said, I think I've said before, like if you ever have an intruder in your house, the best way to scare them is to just get naked and run at them with anything. Pick up the first thing you find, no matter how weird it is. If it's a pot plant, if it's a toothbrush, that is the most terrifying thing to any intruder, is a naked person running at them with a crazy expression and a random object from the house.
What if...
Because they have no idea what you've been doing with it. Pick up a dildo.
What if you...
literally the most terrifying thing you could possibly do is to run at them with a dildo.
What if you're like what if you've got like a model body and like big, like you got like a breast...
Doesn't matter.
Breast
Doesn't
augmentation. Matter. You're sexy as hell and you're running after them.
Doesn't matter. If you pick up a mop and run at me with a crazy face, I'm out of here. I'm running. Exactly. What, toilet brush? Pick up a toilet brush, just go for anything. So the entire time I was in America, I didn't see a toilet brush. Do you have toilet brushes?
Yes.
Okay. It's just your house that's really minging.
We keep it in the closet. It stays in the closet.
Why?
Because there's no room in our bathroom. It's so tiny.
Oh, okay. But anyway, yeah, just pick up something random and just run at them. And I think that not only would naked and running at Leah crazy look crazy, and she might, pause for a bit. Flint is gay. He might be offended by the sight of boobs.
He might not want it at all. He might.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He won't want to touch them. And if he knows that he's got to pick you up and he's got to touch some tiggle biddies, he might not want to.
Because Grace is
she's a chunky girl.
Yeah, I'm not happy with the artistic depictions and renderings of Grace, because I pictured her to be a bigger girl.
Yeah.
Which is one of the things I liked about the story, was that Grace was a bigger girl. But okay. And then second question that kind of goes off of that one is, what would it take for Flint to earn your trust again after he tried to kill you? We got a lot of really good, thoughtful responses. One person said, save my life at least 3 more times than he tried to get me killed.
Is that her price? 3 more.
3 more. Protect me from the apparent millions of students willing to kill one another. One person said, I don't think I can trust him again if he tried to kill me, but I don't know. It's Flint.
That's your normal reaction. Well done, human being.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Like, if it was real life, I would not forgive him. But because it's Flint and we get so much of his character that I like, in the context of the story, yes. But in real life, if you try to kill me, goodbye.
I like the Espinosa family 5 answer. A fuck lot.
A fuck lot.
I think that's an appropriate answer.
Yeah, I like, I probably need him to respect my personal bubble until I could trust him, and need him to tell me everything that happened. Everything. Yeah. A little bit of communication goes a long way.
Apologize a lot, and some chocolate would be a start.
If someone tries to kill you, chocolate is not a good trade for forgiveness.
No, it's not a good peace offering.
One person said just a real sorry is enough. I do not agree. No. I do not agree. That's not enough.
How do you know what a real sorry is and what it isn't? I mean, I've had some really disguised, genuine apologies, which were absolute bullshit.
Yeah, my ex Clint beat the hell out of me and then called me later that night. I can't remember what happened. I can't remember anything. I'm like, yeah, you shut up. Of course you do. Let's see.
What would it take for you to forgive him?
Time. A lot of time, and not just me being able to have trust in him, but everybody around me who is more, those at the school who are more intuitive than I am, because I mean, Jaxon knew from the beginning. I would almost need Jaxon. If Jaxon was the first to be able to detect all of Flint's fuckery, I would almost need Jaxon to be the one to say he's in the clear, assuming that I didn't have any paranormal like abilities of my own to be able to defend myself. I would almost need to rely on someone who is more powerful than me to be able to say, yeah, it's fine. You're fine.
I would. I would use Hudson, and I would say, let's come up with the best way to get him back, but in a prank way, because my way of healing wounds is through laughter. And I think Flint is also that kind of person. And I think the day that he actually is able to genuinely laugh and not do that fake, like, I don't know where I stand with you laugh, where he's actually able to let loose and realize that I have forgiven him, that'll be the day that I know that he knows that we're okay. Because you can always tell what a genuine laugh is and what a fake laugh is, because the smile never hits the eyes. And I think that I would use Hudson as either like a way to like get into his head and do some silly things, or just use him as a sounding board for some stupid shit. Not those really crappy dad jokes though. That's not funny. That's no. She needs to stop with those, and she does, thankfully. Yeah. But yeah, I think that I would heal my own wounds first, because I wouldn't feel so bad about the fact that I hadn't forgiven him as I hadn't forgiven myself for not seeing through it. And I would be very distrustful of everyone from then on. So I think I would just need to be comfortable with myself again. And I think that is through making jokes and being silly. And that's probably how I would heal those wounds.
Yeah. I just found in Dragon Court what Flint actually says during his big apology. It's in the bonus chapter, but he says, I want to start over, I tell her. And watching the sunrise over a sleeping Manhattan seemed like the perfect place to do it. And Grace says, start over? And he said, you and me, I sigh. You're my best friend, Grace. And I was an asshole, a total fucking asshole, to do what I did to you when you first got to Katmere. I still can't bring myself to say it, can barely bring myself to think it without drowning in guilt and horror. I was hoping we could. And then she says, like, let bygones be bygones. He says, I'm not optimistic. I guess I'm making a mess of this. I had it all planned in my head. And then basically Grace just kind of starts over. She's like, I'm Grace Foster. I'm a gargoyle, but basically have no idea what that means. How about you? He says, I'm Flint Montgomery, dragon shifter extraordinaire and total jackass. And then they are okay.
Yeah. Just like, okay, you're going to fly me up to the top of the tower. You're going to feed me this. Especially if Grace wasn't aware of like her gargoyle powers by then. Like, I'm like, okay, let's have some fun together, but you have to be part of this companionship to heal together. So let's fly together. Let's go and throw marshmallows off a roof and see if you can catch them in midair and stuff like that. Like, I would heal through laughter.
Yeah, more like fun friend dates together. Like, yeah, you are at my whim. We're going to spend time together. Which they have that bond together where if she said, let's do this, he would totally do whatever she wanted to do. He was eager to spend time with her.
Because I think the hardest part of building a friendship back up together is when the other person doesn't know where they stand with you. And I'm very much the person where I wake up in the morning and I've already forgiven you, even if I'm trying to show you that what you did was unacceptable and it would be unforgivable in any other person's books. I am so lenient and I am so forgiving that I would want them to know, look, just because I am okay with you now doesn't necessarily mean that you can do it again.
Right, or that I've forgotten.
Yeah, but you still need to make up for what you've done in memories that will override the bad ones.
I have a theory, or not a theory, I have a way that I live by with everybody. You get one fuck up. Relationships, family, friends. You don't say that to them. You don't start dating someone and be like, okay, you are entitled to one fuck up. If you
here's the coupon for one fuck up.
You get one. Yeah. If you tell them that, then they'll be like, oh, cool. I can can I use my coupon on this? You don't tell them, but after something happens, you sit down with them and you say that was your one. Everybody's entitled to one and you just spent yours.
Yeah.
After that, you don't get another one. So
am I on strike one yet?
no.
Yay!
Yay! Now Amber's gonna be like, ooh, how can I use my next one? Yeah. All right.
How can I pretend that I've used the next one as well, whilst also keeping her giggling because she's gonna think, oh, is this it? Is this it? And I'm like, psych,
it's not. Yeah. I don't think that there's anything that, especially when you live in the UK, like you're not going to come egg my house. You're not gonna, even if you did, I would
just send a poo for your dog.
Yeah, really, the flaming dog.
Letterbox shit.
Now that we're completely off the rails, are you ready for our bonus question?
Yes, I am.
All right. Amber posted, serious podcast question. Which would you rather have 50 gallons poured over you of? That was a weird way. Poured over you.
I tried. You kept talking and I couldn't form a sentence.
All right. 50 gallons of pee or 50 gallons of blood? Did you look at the answer or do you want to guess what they said?
No, I haven't.
What do you think they said?
But is it unanimous?
No.
Oh.
Yes.
It is unanimous.
Yes.
100% on one way.
Yes.
It's got to be the blood then.
It is. 100% said blood.
That is, you know, like it obviously makes sense in your head because you would rather that.
Yeah.
But you can't ever imagine that every single person that's seen the question would go down the same route as you because you're like, but surely some people would go down the like, ew, I have like a blood issue, like not a single like hemophiliac or
Nope.
or person that was like, is it hemophobic?
Here's the thing. Most of our listeners are
That's a good point.
Are either female or were born female and menstruate, and blood is not really,
or love vampire fiction.
Right? Blood's not really an obstacle for us. We see it once a month. You know, it's
yeah.
I don't see very
50 gallons. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, if you would have said 50 gallons of pee or 50 gallons of mysterious menstrual blood, then it probably would have maybe been a little bit more because if it's mysterious and I don't know where, like, ew. Yeah, I think it's that there's no specificity. It's just pee or blood. It's not like cow pee or lemming blood. So anyway,
lemming blood. Well, so I've Googled, how big is 50 gallons? Because obviously it's a completely different unit of measurement to what I use.
A gallon is what milk comes on. The biggest thing of milk.
No, it doesn't, because here it's in pints. And it's apparently 1.2 bathtubs. So would you bathe in blood or would you bathe in piss?
Blood. It's always going to be blood. My answer isn't going to change.
Oh,
not changing it.
Okay,
that is my final answer. If I see one person voted for pee, I'm going to look and it's going to be your profile. I know it.
Sharp. I was gonna do it.
You were gonna do it just to.
Is that my one coupon?
That's your one. That's your one fuck up that you're entitled to. Oh God! All right, guys, this has been one hell of an episode. I think we're almost to like an hour.
On that note,
guys, there's a giveaway going on right now on our Instagram. You can find us by searching at Crave Series Aesthetic on Instagram. All you need to do is post a photo of this podcast screen, whether it be a photo that you take of your computer screen or a screenshot from your mobile device. As long as you can show us that you are listening to the podcast, post that to your Instagram timeline and use the hashtag Crave Podcast Christmas, so that we can find it. We're going to announce the winner in next week's episode, which will be on Wednesday, the 28th. Yeah. And you're going to win some fabulous prizes, including our Ludaire's Coach hoodie with the gargoyle wings on the back. Super cool. You can't get this merch anywhere else because we do not sell it. You can only win it. And so far, only one other person has that hoodie because we've only done one giveaway so far. So make sure that
even we don't have it.
I have one. I have it, but the zipper's messed up. Remember? So we're not offering it with the zipper.
You never showed it to me. We never. There's so many things that we just never did when I was at your house. One of which was see Edward Cullen's coat.
I know.
And the other, I really wanted to sniff it. And the other thing was to show me the Luders coach jacket.
Yeah.
Oh,
I know.
Bum.
That's where we're not offering it with zipper anymore because the zipper, I mean, I'm sure that it was just a fluke, but I don't want anybody to get their hoodie and the zipper be messed up. So we're doing them no zippers. Unless for any reason you have a disability where you need it to have a zipper. I know that some people, if you have like an ostomy bag, you might prefer to have the zipper, and that's fine. Just let us know if you need the zipper, but otherwise we'll offer it without the zipper. And I think that we can go up to 5X for the hoodies.
Sure.
I think so. I think it's 5X.
You're saying a lot of things in this episode that I'm just like,
you're just, yeah.
Sure.
I think so. We'll have to check with our supplier. But anyway, guys, thanks so much for listening. Tune in on, I believe, Christmas Eve. We're going to be posting the next Katmere Academy ASMR on our YouTube channel. Look for Crave the Book Podcast and subscribe to our YouTube channel for that because those only post to YouTube. And have an awesome, awesome holiday.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.